we're back at Soccershop.bet, as you can see with Lance Michael. The only change is that over Lance's shoulder is the Ribs and Burgers milkshake. Just to remind me, yes, that we've got lunch still to come here, so we won't be too long. We've got a couple of things to do on this insert on Clocking the Gallop. One is to welcome Lance again. The second one is to talk about the Summer Cup ante-post betting, which is a fascinating market, and I've got to be honest, we'll discuss it now. I think the betting's wrong. And then finally, and maybe to start off on this point, you've got some live games up and running, which is fantastic.
We're so excited. We've relicensed our URL in the Mpumalanga region, which has allowed us a whole lot of live games. Poker, bet on poker, Wheel of Fortune, bet games, 7, bet games 5. It's a real treat for the customers, and I hope they look at it and enjoy it and have a bit of fun. It's a great addition.
It's entertainment, really, isn't it?
Yes.
And you know, we all have a little bit of entertainment, and if you're not watching Netflix or punting during the afternoon, you can play around with these live games.
And the clarity, it's 3D, it's live, so it's not a machine, it's a woman dealing, it's fun. You know, I'm excited for it because when we launch upgraded software, there's another 6 or 7 games that are coming on top of this. So this is just to whet the appetite for now.
Wonderful. And we go, as always, to Soccershop.bet.
Soccershop.bet. You log in, you see bet games. We've actually put a colourful banner on the left. Try our new live games and have a bit of fun. Okay,
wonderful. So for those who enjoy that kind of thing and want to entertain themselves in a good, comfortable environment, and you're very familiar with Lance and his products, that's the way to do it. So we look forward to that. Soccershop.bet, live games up and running. Congratulations to Lance and his team. Now, for those racing enthusiasts, or even those who are not, because there might be some who are attracted to live games and then say, what's this racing game all about? We have the big Summer Cup coming up. We saw the ante-post favourite Malmoose in action on a mission race the other day. What did you make of the race?
Neil, it was a race for me showed a huge fault in the betting for the Summer Cup.
Yes.
I see we got Mammoose, or the betting in general, the speed of one Mammoose. What I saw on Saturday, brave man's going to take a price like that. I know he'll improve, but he just didn't look happy. Head was moving, he didn't look how happy he was. So for me, I think the betting's a little bit distorted.
And if we can add to that, got the green light, who's the second favourite, was in the same race and also was less than convincing.
And that was never in the race. It was second last, it never ran on. I don't know how much improvement they got. I mean, they are decent horses, and for that, you got to give a little bit of allowance, but the reality is the runs were poor.
Well, that's exactly what I started off by saying. What I saw doesn't reflect in the betting. I mean, I wouldn't be taking stolen money and putting it on Malmoose or Got the Green. Not at 3
and they top weight.
They're
going to carry the top weight.
Yes. So now that I agree with you, which is why we're having the discussion, why I phoned Lance and said, well, let's talk about this market, because if they're the wrong price, that means something somewhere is the right price and the right value. So we've got it here. I've got a few names to go. So we've discussed it. They're 3-1 and 4-1. Respectively, Malmoose Got the Green Light, so that's not for us. Let's start talking about some of the other market. Equally, I suppose, Porto Manzano, who's 7-1.
Again, for me, wasn't an impressive run.
No,
definitely not. So you got to look past that. You got to look for horses that are going to carry lower weights, that are coming into the race third run.
Yes,
prepped. For me, those two are, you know, I've discussed it. She-Ham of Sean Terry's ran a nice race Saturday.
Yes, so let's talk about the positives out of that race. I'm not so sure there were too many. Obviously, we'll get to She-Ham in a moment, but Bingwa won the race and really was quite impressive in doing so. But the problem is that he's gone to a 118 now.
Yeah, he's now out of the race, in my opinion, and the distance won't suit him as much as the 1600 though.
Correct, I agree with you. I think over 2000, probably his best trip is 1600, 1800, and now, but look, if you took 28-1 Bingwa, then you know.
He's going to get a run, he's going to trade less than that, so yes, but I think he's an unlikely winner.
Okay, so let's talk about the filly, and she is a filly that you were talking about, which is Siam, who ran 5th, right on top of Al Mutana. Nico likes that, and she's got to have a chance because she's going to come in with little or no weight.
I spoke to Sean this morning by just by pure chance, because you and I got a horse running.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's nominated for next Thursday, so he was just asking where the colours are and this and that. And I said, Sean, what do you like? He says, I've got flying carpet and I've got sea ham.
Yes.
He says, I'm hoping they'll come in with a light weight. He says, they're not going to get 8 kilos, they're going to get 4.5 kilos, he said.
Yes.
4.5. He says, but they're going to be prepped to the minute.
Yes.
And he thinks the top 2 or 3 are vulnerable, so he's quite excited.
Yeah, so I had a look at that. So for my logic, I used Bingwa, right, as the line horse, as it were.
Yes.
Now, Bingwa, if you go back and look at where Bingwa was running to Malmoose, it's not necessarily a surprise that he won the Honour Mission, but now he's as we said, gone up to 118. The others are left in their spot. So
yes.
Seaham might sneak in. You've mentioned the colt, who I've said to Eric a couple of weeks, I think, ran a nice race. We're talking about the Ritan Belergens horse, Flying Carpet, who sneaked in at a big price. But there are others. What did you make of Al Mutana? Probably 2,000 is...
I liked him on Saturday. I don't think he's going to be effective over 2,000.
Yeah.
Could be wrong, but I'll put my money where my mouth is.
And he ran okay without really catching them. I mean, he was running on.
He did run on in a race that was pretty much done and dusted past the 300 or 400. The horse had won really well. But not for me, Neil. I think it'll be a different ball game in the Summer Cup.
I want to throw my shrewdie at you. I've mentioned it to you already, but I want to tell the public about it because I think that she might come in quite well on a line through War of Athena and Netta. War of Athena sets a very high standard, and Netta's not too far behind. But Sparkling Water is off a 109. It's Mike de Kock, and she has a pedigree. I mean, she's a Silvano out of Espumante.
And very highly thought of as a 3-year-old, and
Yes.
backed her a good few times to beat War of Athena.
Correct. And
she's running Saturday, along with Flying Carpet in the same race.
yes.
So they're going to come in third run. You mentioned it earlier to me, if they win, how do they get penalised? I don't know.
Yes.
Because it is a Group 3.
Yes. Well, they might get some penalties, but equally, I mean, I looked at it, you've got to get a run, that's the thing. It's a little bit like the July, in so much as it's a handicap, and you want to get in, but you want to get in
high
off the
enough
bottom
merit
weight.
rate to
Yes.
get in the race, but you don't want to get in with the top weight. So it's a tricky situation.
Okay, so we've discussed that. Seaham you've mentioned. Did he mention
Sparkling-
Shango this morning at all?
Sparkling? No, not at all. Sparkling Water is a big runner.
Yeah, I think Sparkling Water is excellent value. I'm just going through the list because what we've said is basically...
Shango's running Saturday again, but over a 6 furlong. So
yeah.
he's keeping all his cards close to his chest. He did mention the 2 that I told you, CM and Flying Carpet. So for me, those are his 2.
Yeah. Seaham's got to get in the race. She's not in the race at the moment. I think she's off a 107.
How's she going to get in? She can't run again, surely.
I don't know. Well, others might fall out. That's the other thing. We'll have to give and someone will take this on. Is there any? He always knows what he's doing. Chutzbraid's an interesting one, 50 to 1 into 35 to 1. I'm just looking at other options. Pamashana's Pride. What did you make of him? Because his Derby form from last year, he went a little bit. He didn't run great in Durban, but if he does get in here, he won't be off the biggest weight.
He's definitely going to be in the race, in my opinion. Again, running Saturday. Kamala's taken him over a horse that Kamala should have ridden, or could have ridden, that's got better form for that type of race Saturday, which tells me that he's kind of getting the feeling for the Summer Cup. So yes, he's a horse with a nice place chance. I don't know if he can win, but yes, a place chance.
Yeah. So I mean, if you look at it, we've gone through the one horse we haven't spoken about, which has ability and class about him, is Second Base. What about him?
Gee, I rate that horse, Neil. I rated him very highly. He's just gone off the boil.
He has gone off the boil.
And he's battled to get him back. He's running. I see again he's running Saturday. So again, Saturday, guys, is going to be the key to the Summer Cup. So follow the card. Follow these horses. A lot of them may run good races. Some of them may run bad races. And they won't be in the betting Monday. But Saturday's key.
So that's exactly why I spoke to Lawrence prior to Saturday, because I see it the same way. Now, punters, it's a patient game, it's a long game. You want to make money immediately, but you also have to have a long-term view. And as much as Saturday's racing is interesting, you want to have a long-term look at the Summer Cup. There is ante-post betting with Soccershop.bet, and I'm like Lance, so you might want to punt a horse like War of Athena or the 2 that we've mentioned, or 3 we've mentioned, long-term. But for me, you should be looking with Sparkling Water and Flying Carpet. Not necessarily for Saturday, they might do well Saturday, but the value is perhaps in the Summer Cup long term. I mean, the one is, I think, 35 to 1, the other one's 50 to 1. So, particularly when we're saying that the Summer Cup betting is wrong at the top end of it.
For me, that's no doubt.
Yes.
Based on what we've seen. We're not guessing.
Yes.
There's going to be a lot of improvement. Like I said, they're really good horses. Joey's going to bring his horse on. Mark's definitely going to bring his horse on. But they don't look happy horses to me. Mammoose was shaking his head around.
Well, he will improve, Malmoose. And Gavin Arena did say to Nico he felt that he didn't ride it the best.
Yes, he kept
he was
him
wide.
wide.
But even factoring that in, I agree. You know, bearing in mind he's got to carry top weight. It's a value point. I mean, 3 to 1's the wrong price. If he was 6 to 1,
we're not saying he can't win.
No.
We're saying that on the
don't chase 3 to 1.
3 to 1's not the value.
Yeah.
But he can definitely win. He's going to prefer 2,000. Mark's in form. He's going to bring the horse on. I think his chances of winning are far greater than Give Me the Green. What's it? Got the Green Light.
Got the Green Light. Yeah, he seems to have.
That's my opinion.
I agree. So we've discussed everything. Did we touch on more of Athena? Only to say that she sets a high standard, but she's going to have to carry the weight.
She's an iron-hearted filly, but she's going to have to. Last year, Summer Pudding carried the pudding.
Yes, true.
And won. A lot weaker field last year than this year. You know.
I would agree with that.
So this year's a better renewal of the Summer Cup, Neil. I think there's some quality in the race. And I think you're going to see a lot of good horses fighting it out and a lot of lightly weighted youngsters or 4-year-olds that are going to be competing. So
I'm just going through your list. I think we've touched on most of them, unless there's something lurking
nothing else
that we haven't. Golden Pheasant is coming for a little bit of money for you, but I'm not so sure he has the quality or class.
No, it doesn't have the class.
But so we're always looking for quality, and I think we've given you a few to have a look at. Seaham is one of those. I mean, they're all big prices, but right now that would be the advice: shop around, and not necessarily to win the race, but you're getting 4 places, and you're getting some big prices.
And you're getting the ante-post pricing now. If your horse runs decent Saturday, they're going to be far more in demand, so you're going to be in a better position. So you can back a few before Saturday and find yourself in a nice position.
There you go. So, and if things don't work out, you can also go and have a ribs and burgers milkshake, which is melting.
That's all you're going to afford if it doesn't work out.
Anyway, always a pleasure chatting to Lance. Interesting market. That's the way we see it. The value is not at the top of the boards. Sometimes we say with ante-post betting, snaffle the 3 to 1, snaffle the 4 to 1 now, because on Summer Cup day it's going to be shorter. In this case, we don't see it like that. We think that the value might be place betting on some of these bigger prices. We thank Lance, as always, Soccershop.bet. Don't forget about the live games as well. Go try those out. Lance, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Neil. All the best. Take care.